Alright, I've given it a good clean up, good examination. In pretty good shape, it's all working order. I see no reason to scrap it. I've given it a nice, nice clean up. A lot of the older gunk and crud out. It weren't too bad, I've had worse daters, but as I said in the previous video, it wouldn't go in a mess. Also, we've started to grease everything up, just grease bits back up. The O-ring in there. Same back here, because we've got a bearing back here. Yeah, I've chucked some grease in the bearings as well. Repack them with some grease. They feel good. So make sure these are cooling down. They were a bit dirty before, but they're better now. All the gaps were good before, but it's had a good clean up. Just need to take note, there's a little O-ring in here. I started to film a little bit late, but there's a tiny little O-ring in between here and here. And I say it goes in between there where your brush plate is to attach to your positive terminal bolt. I've just put a little bit of grease in the hole, packed it, slipped the O-ring in and bolted it down. Tricky part, some people might not know for these, there's different ways of doing this, because it looks all well and good doing the reassembly until you realise these I've got to get through that. If these ain't retracted, they're sticking out, you can't do it. I mean, actually I'll just show you because these are in the what's it position. Let me just, there we go. Pull that one out now like that. If I try and put it in the gap, it don't fit. This pretty much goes for all starter motors, so brushes are pushed down onto that bit of copper to make the contact. For different ones, I mean on my FJR, sorry, I use these little crocodile clips, and also you could hold the brush plate in place, retract it back there. Unfortunately, because of the way this is facing going backwards, I can't do that. However, for these ones, the trick is, you see these springs back here, see one's pushed down onto it like so. This one, as you can see, you pull it back up and you just push it back over the lip of the edge, and that keeps it retracted. And as you can see now, that's a spring in. But if it's tricky to do on camera. You have to, there we go. Ooh. See, it's a spring, so it's quite tricky, but there we go. They don't always want to stay in place, so you got to persuade them. Pop the one back now, brilliant. There we go, just over like that, that's all they need to be, just over like that. And then it goes in this way, so orientation, orientation, orientation. It's a bit tricky this one because it all fits in backwards, but there you go. As you can see now, because them springs are retracted, this, I'm sure I don't want to jinx myself and speak too soon, but I should now be able to slip this straight into here. So we've got one still sticking out a little bit, which is annoying. Let's try like that. These got to be right out for this to go in, otherwise there's really tolerance fit. And I think we're almost in. We're in. See, they're both connected now, both in there. Before you go any further than here, so you want to make sure them springs reset. Nice little pokey tool or something, just get in there. And they're now down on the copper. This one has a bearing in the back. I'm also guessing you need to push it into. There we go. Wiggling is your friend. And that's the back end pretty much of it. All fitted together. Making sure it's all in there and it should be. Nice, nice. Next up, obviously you got an O-ring here. And same on the other side here. These ones, I like to use a dabble of oil instead of the grease. Either's good, but for the outer ones I just like to use a bit of oil. A bit of grease is specified for the inner one, I don't have that yet. Yeah, just run around the outside like that. Keeps the seals in place. So they're intact like this, there's no need to replace them. Really, just give them a good double of oil to re-lubricate the seal. Like a wooden oil filter. Thank you. Nice like that. Now, the next step is this needs to go on there. Now, thankful, as I mentioned in an earlier video, a nice mark there, and there's my marks I made earlier to pick them up. One there, there's one just there, so I know what's gone where. Next step, this is the hard part because this is magnetic and it's going to force and not resist, so beware. And make sure you keep your orientation on that bolt. See what I mean? Yeah. Be a man about this stuff. I'm going to do this on camera or not, but we'll try it. Almost. So that's plain niggly. There we are, she's on. There we are, finally. And if you look down here, it's one of the reasons for the orientation, because as you can see, if you look down here where the magnets are, you see the holes, so if it was wrong orientation it wouldn't go back together right. So far so good. And next step, you'll see just this seal on here, that's got to go on there, which isn't too difficult to do thankfully. Maybe a good little habit as well, I've got some more grease. Not much, just a tiny little dabble on this shaft here, just to help it spin up. Very minuscule amount like that. I didn't realise I put so little. A few dabbles of grease around there, because it's going to spin on this, so a bit of grease is going to help it. To wipe any excess, you don't pretty much want it to get any further than around where the bit's going into the engine. The rest of it's going to be behind a seal, so it's okay. There we go. Same again, the orientation. Just need to find my marks. There's my mark. A mark there, meaning it goes down like so. I've got the orientation there. I almost did a soupsy. I've got to do this seal here. Again, run around it, dabble of oil, whoosh, around the whole seal. Keeps that thing lubricated. You can reuse it. It's not going to dry, it's not going to crack. There we go. Right. Remember orientation. Make your marks up, line them up, and slip it on. Like so. Very important to get them marks bang on. Just there, and they all line up lovely. So in the holes, something like that. It's just how it should be. That's it. That's on. What I'm going to do, just to be safe, I'm going to stick a little just down there, just to get any of the excess off. See, needs perfection, but now I know. Now I know the level at which I can put the grease. Like that. Lovely. Yeah. Right in front of me, I can't see it. Anyway. Pop it back down. Line. And there we go. She's in place. That's all back together. Two things left now, my bolts. Again, there's actually an O-ring at the bottom of these, each one of these as well, so we'll apply a little bit of oil to them. Like so. Like so again, like so. Before we put these bolts back in as well, I want to put a little bit, just a tiny bit, not much, of Loctite on them, so they don't come loose again. Yeah, in she goes. Same for the other one. Bolts feel a little bit weird. Just give them a nice wiggle, it'll line them back up. There we go. It's there. And because my hands are covered in grease, this is now an impossible suit. We'll get the appropriate tool. Also, put that back on there. That way we don't lose it. There are two 8mm bolts, I believe. So, 8s. Now they have a torque set in. We'll find what that is. For now, we're just gonna knit them down. Because there's two, you want to do it kind of evenly. So, first one, don't even tighten it, just kind of get it to where you feel some resistance. And the other one. Again, they feel a bit snug. You do each of them up bit by bit, so you get an even grab. I'm just going to do these so I can hand tighten them more or less. Make it a little better later. I have a lot of experience doing bits up and tightening things up by hand, so I mean, currently at my workplace I know exactly what 45 Newton meters of torque is without a torque wrench. It's quite shocking. That feels tight to me, it feels good. It's hard when you've got oil on your hands. That feels good. Last one on here just to be sure. Yeah, that feels nice, nice and tight. Do it again. Nice and tight. No, that's not budging now. At the tension I want to put it on. Yeah, see me that one. It's not really budging. Like that. And there we go. That's lovely. That's all back together. So we get a little test fire. Unfortunately I can't do that because my jump leads aren't with me. Bear with. Okay, I've managed to make some jump leads magically appear. And now it's time for its test. I've got the O-ring here for it, but I've got a new one coming on the way that we're going to put a new one in anyway, so that's why that's not there at the minute. But obviously now it's all back together. And if you want to do is make sure you've not broke it. So, as before, I'll actually take this off because I'll get better grip that way. I'll go all the way. Okay. Now, see us again. Positive to the positive. Then your ground. The whole thing's ground, so anywhere I put it, it should fire up. I just hope I did it. Lovely, it works. Spins up a little nicer than it did. She feels better than it did. Yeah, don't know how you like this video. Normally I just show little bits and little sections, and as I'm getting along I don't usually film me actually doing much of the work because it's easier said than done. But with a tripod and whatnot we're getting there, we're on the go. But yeah, next step, we're in the garage and put this back in the bike and carry on cleaning the electrical connectors of the bike. Till the next one.